Let's talk about a pretty amazing story. It's about how one person's quiet hobby, their passion for art, somehow grew into this massive global movement that's actually changing what it means to be a fan. So let me just ask you this. What if being a fan wasn't just about, buying merch or streaming songs? What if it could actually be a path for your own personal growth? And that's where this idea comes in. Namjooning. Yeah, it's a real word now. It basically means taking care of yourself by connecting with art, going for walks, and just finding those quiet moments of stillness. And it's all inspired by the way RM from BTS lives his life. So stick with me here because we're going to trace this whole journey. How RM's simple museum trips started a ripple effect that's now being felt everywhere, from the art world all the way to international policy. All right, first up, let's get into the philosophy of it all. We're looking at how Namjooning is basically rewriting the rules of fandom, turning it from just watching to actively getting involved in your own growth. And this whole philosophy, it goes pretty deep. It's not just about looking at nice things, it's self-care. It's about finding real peace. In a world that's always buzzing, someone even called it a rebellion through stillness, which I think is perfect. It's all about personal growth, and it's heavily inspired by artists RM admires, like the Korean painter Yun Hyung-kun, who he sees as a kind of mentor. Okay, so that's the idea, but does it actually do anything? Oh yeah, this isn't just a concept. It has a real, tangible impact that has the art world paying very close attention. So picture this. It all starts with something so simple. RM goes to a museum, he likes what he sees, and he posts a photo online. A small action, right? But what comes next is what people are now calling the RM effect. And the impact is just staggering. For example, after RM visited the space Liu Fan at the Busan Museum of Art, curators said attendance went through the roof, breaking all their previous records. A single post can literally turn a quiet little gallery into a must-see global spot overnight. But here's the thing. His involvement doesn't just stop with him showing up. He's not just a tourist. He's a real patron of the arts, putting his own money where his heart is to support the whole system. I mean, check this out. In 2020, he donated 100 million won, that's roughly 84,000 US dollars, to Korea's National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art. And this wasn't just a blank check. He had a very specific goal in mind. And this is the really cool part. That money went directly to reprinting these rare, hard-to-find art books. And then they were sent out to schools and libraries all over the country. So he was directly investing in art education for the next generation. It's brilliant. All right, so he's a visitor, he's a patron, but the story doesn't end there. He's now leveling up to become a real creative partner, someone who is actively helping to shape how art is shared with the world. Then, in October of 2025, something pretty historic happened. SFMOMA, we're talking one of the biggest modern art museums in the world, announced this totally groundbreaking collaboration. It's the first time they've ever done anything like this with a K-pop artist. So here's the roadmap for what's become a huge event on the art world's calendar. The exhibition, which RM is actually co-curating, is slated to open in October 2026 and will run all the way through February 2027. And what this exhibit is all about, it's really a conversation. It's going to put incredible works by Korean masters like Park Rae-hyun and Chang Woo-chin in the same room as global giants like Mark Rothko and Henri Matisse. It's designed to build this amazing cultural bridge. And you can really hear his vision in his own words here. He said he hopes it will be a small but sturdy bridge, not just for looking at art, but for getting people to think about the boundaries in their own lives, whether they're cultural or personal. So we've seen him in the art world, but now his influence is expanding even further. He's really stepping into this role of a cultural diplomat, taking this message to a global stage. And if you need proof, get this. In October 2025, he was named one of the 20 most influential people in the entire Korean art market. And the key thing here, he was the only entertainer on a list full of museum directors and top gallerists. And he took that influence, that clout, and he brought it to the 2025 APEC CEO Summit. We're talking about an event with world leaders and the biggest CEOs on the planet, and he was there to give a keynote speech. And to explain his point, he used this absolutely perfect analogy. He said K-pop is like bibimbap, the Korean mixed rice dish. It's a bunch of totally different, unique ingredients coming together to create something brand new and amazing. So, what was he really telling these world leaders? His message was clear: invest in culture, understand the value of soft power, and most importantly, create a world where diverse, creative voices aren't just heard, but celebrated. So, let's bring this all home. When we look at the whole story, what's the real legacy here? Why does Namjooning matter so much, beyond just this one artist and his fans? Well, when you boil it all down, there are a few huge takeaways. First, fandom can be this incredibly deep, personal journey. Second, it shows how one person's genuine passion can have this huge ripple effect, making art easier to access for everyone. And maybe most importantly, Namjooning is like this permission slip for all of us to just slow down, pay attention, and connect. So I'll leave you with this to think about. In a world that is always on, always demanding our attention, what do we gain as individuals and as a culture from the simple act of just looking slowly?